Finalists for the men's pairs. 4 years ago, Australia's Drew Ginn teamed up with the legendary Jimmy Tompkins to make good the victory they'd originally planned for Sydney 2000 when a back injury ended Drew's dream.
Attention.
Yeah, and I think Drew Ginn in the bow of the Australian pair, just careful on that first stroke. It wasn't the best first stroke. He lost his legs a little bit quickly, so once he gets into his rhythm, I'm sure he'll feel a lot better. And I guess the strong part of their race we know is going to be in the middle 1,000 metres, David.
Good start by the Canadians there, Dave Calder and Scott Franson. Something of a surprise package?
Amazingly surprising package, and I think that shows the strength of the Canadian squad that Mike Spracklin has put together. Spracklin with the coaches on the far bank there cycling, following the races. I think all the coaches are well chuffed to be able to follow the races on their bikes out here, and the speed of the Canadian pair at Lucerne just blew everybody away. They beat the Australians and the New Zealanders there, and Scott Fransden from the boat races just set up a tremendous unit with Dave Calder. Both men tried to get into the Canadian 8 and failed, and here they are in this pair that's leading the Olympic final at the moment.
And I tell you what, those first two crews, Canada and Australia, absolute dynamite start, because they've left the rest in the first 200 metres of this race.
Yeah, and you know, the thing about the pairs is that Gin and Free have been so dominant in this event over the past 2 years. It's forced other crews out of it, with the exception of the New Zealanders. So the British pair, who won the bronze medal in the Worlds last year, Colin Smith and Matt Langridge, they've rather gone in the 8 than faced the Australians in the pair.
Likewise for Jimmy Tompkins, who's gone in to strengthen the Australian 8. Here we are at the first quarter already, and this is astonishing.
Yeah, it is. And the New Zealanders back there, I mean, that wasn't where they were in the World Championships last year. So I'm not sure how much to form they are, but between these two crews out in front, the Canadians, are they going to reprise that fantastic victory in Lucerne over the Australians? And at the moment, both pairs look very smooth. The Canadians, slightly the higher rating crew, and Drew Ginn there with his partner Duncan Free, they like to rate a little bit lower. Duncan's got such a long reach with that height he's got at stroke that it allows them the flexibility to do that.
And already we've got two races, one for the gold and silver, the other arguably for the bronze. The Americans, well, they did really well to get into the final, but the Harvard pair who qualified for this race back in the US trials in June, they're really discovering just how hot company they're in at this moment. And as we look overhead there on the left of the two leaders, that is the Canadian duo, on the right Australia, and then overall from left to right you've got South Africa, New Zealand, just about in the bronze medal, two from the left, and then on the extreme right you can see the crew from Germany. And Germany actually doing pretty well. They're a long way off the race pace, and that makes it very difficult for them, Martin, but they're doing pretty well, the German youngsters.
They are, and their test for them is going to be in the third quarter, as it will be for these two leading pairs. I mean, I remember the World Championships last year, the Australians really pushed away from the New Zealanders, who were head-to-head with them. And Drew Ginn just had a nice little look there. I don't know how his back's going to be coping, whether he's rowing through the pain. In the semi-final, he said it was absolutely excruciating. Whether it's toned down a bit for this final, I don't know, but certainly it's not affected their pace, head-to-head with the Canadians.
Yeah, just a little bit quicker than the Canadians in that second quarter, 1:40.50, absolutely on terms. And there you can see New Zealand now solidly in third place, ahead of South Africa and Germany.
Yeah, and this is where the Australians want to make their mark. In Lucerne, they felt they had been short of top-end speed. That's why they came in third. Drew Ginn back there in June, still doing 600 kilometres a week, would you believe, in Melbourne there on his bike. Toned that down now and got that speed to take them through.
And their boat carrying the name of their International Olympic Committee member John Coates, who's been such a brilliant supporter, not just of rowing, but right across the whole of Australian Olympic sport.
Yeah, he's a top man, John Coates, and here watching the rowing today, and I'm sure he'd be down on the medal ceremony if these two guys win especially, but just how relaxed does Duncan Free look. That's a fantastic move they've made, because the Australians have really gone out for the Canadians, and Duncan Free so smooth. In contrast to these two New Zealanders, George Bridgewater there in the stroke seat, Kiwi, he's coming to Oxford University after the Olympic regatta, but they're so far down on where they were at the Worlds last year that it's just like a different world.
Yeah, they look pretty good for a bronze medal, but of course they've come here hoping that they could keep in this with a chance of going for silver or possibly gold, but that looks a forlorn hope at the moment. But they're not really under pressure from anybody else in terms of that bronze medal. Here we come to the final quarter, and Canada still digging in, still staying, but now this remorseless rhythm, and the Australians move it up.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see if the Canadians drop back a little bit, because they put so much into that first part of the race, lay down the gauntlet and see if they can dominate the Australians, see if that back injuries had any effect on them. But it's not worked, because the Australians are in that absolutely impressive rhythm.
And here they are, Martin, and in simple terms, why are they so special for you?
You know, they've got the length, that tremendous reach we talked about. They've also got the smoothness and fluidity forward, and they're two great racers. Duncan Free's learned his craft in the single scull. Drew Gin's learned his craft with James Tompkins and the awesome foursome. It's a fantastic package.
It is indeed, and New Zealand looking good. Just look how well that boat is flowing there, and as you suspected, the Canadians really not got anything else to offer, but they look pretty secure in the silver medal position. And this is a great picture. Just look at the way that they are moving this pair.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to watch, just like we saw the Romanians and the women pair. For me, this is one of the crews of the regatta, the Australian men's pair, peerless, and they've put other people off coming into this event, and they're reaping the benefits now coming into the last 200 metres.
Yeah, the New Zealanders are closing on the Canadians a teeny-weeny bit, but it's not going to make any particular difference. Germany and South Africa vying out for 4th and 5th right across the width of the regatta course. Australia looking comfortable and holding the Canadians. The Canadians having another little bite, but it's going to be Australia who take the gold medal, world champions for the past 2 seasons. But Duncan Free and partner Drew Gin are Olympic champions for 2008 by almost a length ahead of Canada, and Nathan Twaddle and George Bridgewater duly take bronze. Germany just ahead of South Africa for 4th place, and to finish 5th will be South Africa ahead of the United States in 6th. Well, there it is, confirmation. Australia really turning the screw in the 3rd quarter. Canada not able to sustain their aggression in the second half. And New Zealand, well, once again, like their women's pair, too much given away early on. World champions, now Olympic champions. They truly are the very best in the world. Duncan on the right there, he's 35, Drew's 33. Who knows if this partnership will go on, but if they do choose to call it a day, no better moment to take their final bow.
And I, for one, will be sad to see them go. These two iconic oarsmen, they managed to combine work and family and rowing at a top-class level. Fantastic team.